You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is Breaking the Ice, and we are back for episode 3. Today, I'm joined by 3 lovely guests this time. The 2 returning members. Introduce yourselves, boys,
I'm
again.
AJ.
I'm Daniel.
They're both back, and today we have another 4th guest. Introduce yourself, Justin.
I'm Justin.
Real.
I'm Justin Brady, Montclair State student. Have a Devils page if you want to check me out. Devils Fanatics on Instagram.
All right, boys. So today, let's start this thing off with, how was everyone's Thanksgiving, honestly? How was your guys' Thanksgiving? I was here with AJ last time.
Dude, my Thanksgiving was amazing, Turkey was nice, stuffing, amazing, family, great. Thanksgiving, best holiday out there, amazing.
What's the Amoia Thanksgiving like?
No complaints myself. I could say the same. Food was incredible. Spent time with family, watched some football. Giants didn't do too well, but aside from that, it was no complaints. Good day. Grateful for everything I have.
Well,
no complaints at all.
Boys, the Panthers just won 5-1. So, hold on, let me just hit that one more time. Actually, no, we're going to go with the...
Yeah!
We'll give them the Lil Jon celebration. All right, so now let's roll right into it. This week, let's check up on what has everyone been doing this past week. So we're going to head over to our least favorite division, the Pacific Division.
Boo.
Boo.
Hold on, I got that for you, actually. It's not actually true. We don't actually hate the Pacific Division.
You and your sound effects are something different.
We don't hate the Pacific Division, but one thing I did notice from this week to last week's episode, there has been no movement in the playoff field. Not one team up, one team down. Everyone just staying cool where they were. You know what I'm saying? Like Vegas right now, they have 19 wins. They're 19-9 on the season. This past week they won 2 games, lost 2 games. I believe was one of them against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
One of them was against Pittsburgh.
They also beat Boston in a shootout, I think.
Yeah,
Boston is
game.
like a really scary team, but do you guys see Vegas staying in front of the Pacific the whole season? Because they've been there all year long. But do you see them keeping it?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Like, you see the teams behind them right now. Seattle, I think they're playing amazing hockey right now. But still, they're not really familiar with their whole team yet. Very new. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're there yet. And then all the teams behind them right now are just not playing the best hockey. They're just very inconsistent. So I see Vegas staying at 1 in the Pacific right now.
You go.
On that note, can we talk about how much of a failure it is what Edmonton has done to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl?
Absolutely.
Like,
we'll
how
get
many
there.
years is it now? Like,
This is McDavid's 7th, 8th year? 8th year?
crazy. Like,
Someone get that. Someone pull that up. Pull
that.
that up on your cellular device.
Such an injustice. Like, you have the 2 greatest players in the sport right now, and
So how you actually feel about both of them? Obviously, McDavid is top 2, but do you actually feel that way about Draisaitl?
he's up there. Let's put it that way. He might not be number 2 exactly, but he's definitely up there. And
It's McDavid's 7th year, right?
Yep.
Dude, AJ just flashed me 7 with his fingers.
Love it.
He was like,
I was giving it to you.
like, at some
Research guy
point,
here.
you'd think they'd put some kind of team around him, and it just they could never do it. It's sad.
well, you see, they need me. That's what it really comes down to. They need me. They need us for. If we hit the ice, they can't lose.
Oh, for sure.
Chase for imagine. Oh, we had a Chase for 28 hockey team. Oh my God, intramural hockey. Get on that. Get on that. I can't even skate, but still.
Top
No,
4
same, but
top
it's
4
fine.
decor right here.
Yeah.
2 righties, 2 lefties.
We can't
That's
skate.
what
We
it
can
is.
just sit in front of the net, though. Like
Top
we just.
4 decor, like top 4 defenseman John Marino that the Penguins gracefully traded to the New Jersey Devils.
Is that-
Ooh.
You see?
Is that how he feels?
Yeah, you see, before the show, like I said, I didn't think I was going to like you. And then I said I did like you. Now you're getting back on that.
I don't think you're going to like me either because that trade's not going very well for the Penguins right now. How's Ty Smith and Wilkes-Barre right now?
I don't even know, and I don't even care. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We'll just chuck that one up to an L. Jeff Petrie.
All right.
the only thing saving me from blowing up on the Penguins front office about that is that his replacement Jeff Petrie just hasn't been terrible. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been terrible. So whatever.
There's something.
Whatever. We don't got to start with that today.
So moving on, Vegas is obviously still taking the Pacific very good, but in second place in the Pacific, the Seattle Kraken. But they've had a bad week. They only have one win. They got destroyed by the Panthers, mind you, 5-1. Do you guys see the Pacific Division staying the way it is right now? Because the Kings are in third, but I think they're getting caught. They're not going to be able to compete. I think Edmonton will sneak into the 3 spot of the Pacific Division because, all the star power. They did just win 2 games this past week. They went 2-1 this past week. They were able to they beat the Coyotes 8-2 yesterday.
That was a routing.
You know what I'm saying?
Lightly.
They lost to Washington, but they're also able to beat the Canadians 5-3. So they're on the come up, but the Kings 2-2 this past week with a 5-0 loss to the Leafs today. So that's a rough one for them. That game just wrapped up, so now they lost again. The Oilers will be able to leapfrog real soon, but this division hasn't had too many moving parts. Calgary's finally picking up steam. They won 3 games this past week. So have the Canucks.
Going back to Edmonton real quick, I don't know if you guys saw an article of Jesse Puljujarvi.
Puljujarvi?
He basically said he doesn't know if he's cut out for the NHL. Like, his production has really tanked this season, and he lost all his self-confidence, and it's kind of sad to see because he was a pretty highly regarded guy for Edmonton. And he basically said through a translated reporter, like, he doesn't know if he's cut out at all to be an NHLer. And that hurts Edmonton because he was a big part of their plans.
Huge part of their plans.
I would say it's crazy because he was a second-line winger last year. I
Yeah.
would say he was a big part of that playoff run. With that, he was playing on the second power play. He was playing with that. He was on the PK for them as well. Like, he was one of the big. He wasn't one of the bigger reasons, but he was a pretty solid contributor of why they went to the Western Conference Final last year. And it kind of just broke my heart reading that.
Sports
Yeah.
are all about confidence.
Puljujarvi.
You lose that confidence. I mean, we saw it in all sports with Joey Gallo in New York, with countless examples. If you don't have that confidence, you're not in a good spot. You have to believe in yourself, and once that confidence gets destroyed, it's very difficult to compete in a professional playing environment.
It just makes us even more aware of the struggles of playing in a big market. Because Edmonton, they're one of the biggest markets in Canada. They're outside of Toronto. Montreal, they probably are. I would even argue they're a bigger market than Toronto. And that's their thing out there. They only have 6 teams compared to our 24. So like
there's 32 teams in the league.
I meant to say 26. I meant to say 26, but
He's stuck in the old ways. Old head.
Yeah,
Neither
here nor
old
there.
head.
Neither here nor there. I meant to say 26.
Hey, yo!
I meant to say 26, but still, it just makes it even more aware that, like, the struggles of what a player has to deal with when they play in a big market and how it can affect you. So just reading that is kind of, you could really see into that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's how he said 26. Have you tried a Snickers? Because you're not you when you're hungry.
Can I just add something to the Pacific Division real quick?
Go for it.
Add to the Pacific, I think I'm looking at Vancouver right now.
They had 3 wins this past week.
They're up
Three-
to 500.
3 weeks ago, they were all like, tank for Bedard, and now it's just the season has really changed. They're now back at 500.
Isn't Thatcher Demko out for like
Yeah.
4 weeks?
Nothing to be worried about. I think they're looking like a very good team. I think they'll make the playoffs in a weak Western Conference, I think. So I think watch out for Vancouver. They're on the rise right now. And
A wild card team or like a Pacific spot?
I say wild card team. I'll watch out for them.
So which team do you see not making it out of the run right now? Because right now it's Vegas, Seattle, and the Kings holding the 3 Pacific spots, and I believe Edmonton will take one of those 3 eventually. So who do you see missing the cut? Unless you see all 5 of those teams making it?
I mean, you could make a case that all 5 of those teams are making it because the Central is not looking too bad right now.
So then, tell me about that. If all 5 of those teams are making it, who's missing from the Central? Because right now it's Winnipeg, Dallas, Minnesota at the top 3. Colorado's not even in. So if that's the case, which team is missing from the Central? Out of all those teams, who are you seeing missing?
Yeah, so I would say probably Minnesota.
Think
Because
they choke it all the way.
yeah, they've been very inconsistent all season long. And in hockey, you have to get on on streaks and stuff like that. You have to play consistent hockey, and if you're not doing that, there's no way you're gonna make the playoffs. And I don't see a way where Colorado does not make the playoffs or even be a wild card team. They're winning their division. They're in a tough slump right now, but they're gonna get past it, no doubt in my mind.
I mean, look at the Rams. So
Who
it's
knows?
all possible.
It's hockey.
The
so.
hangovers are all possible, of course. But San Jose, that's probably like they gotta be if they're not the worst team of this past week. If they're not bad team of the week, they're like number 2. They didn't win a single game. They didn't win a single game since the last time we were here.
Bedard, you are a San Jose Shark.
You are a San Jose Shark. They have 8 wins and 21 losses.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Other
good.
than Eric Carlson's Norris campaign, like, is there anything about the San Jose Sharks that that is worth talking about?
2016 was their chance, man.
Nope. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, they didn't get
2016 was their chance. And the Ducks are still under them, even though they won this past week. Even though the Ducks did pick up a win. You know what I mean? It happens. It happens sometimes.
They got their first regulation win last week.
That was again, yeah. AJ and I brought that up. The Rangers, the victims there, but they actually beat the Hurricanes. That's who the Ducks ended up beating on Tuesday, the Canes. So that's a big one for you Metro boys out there.
Yeah,
huge.
definitely.
Pull through for the Ducks. They have the least amount of wins in the league, but hey, at least now they're knowing it now because now there's 3 teams with 7 wins only. But as far as the Pacific, so I know Justin, you think Vancouver's coming for a wild card spot, but where do you see Edmonton taking the other one or the Kings taking the other one?
Kings taking the other one.
Kings.
I think the Oilers will start heating up a little bit here. I mean, it's tough to say because all they have is McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins. I feel like
And all 3 of them are centermen, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So that's just 3 separate lines that have no support.
Like really, and you look at and maybe Zach Hyman. Out of those 4, there's really nobody really producing for them. It seems like right now, and that's a big problem. You need like the Devils have. I know, like I am gonna bring up the Devils because they are my team. But
Yeah, of course we'll get the yeah.
I mean, but if you look at them right now, they got 4 solid lines, and all of them are contributing to the team right now. I think that's so important to a team's success, and the Oilers just do not have that right now.
Man, 4 solid lines gives me throwbacks. I miss those days of last year. But by the way, Shane Wright scored his first goal a couple days ago, you know? Congratulations.
The Montreal Canadiens, the team who passed on him in the draft.
Yeah, stared their draft
Slafkovsky.
table down. Stared their draft table
Yo,
down.
I remember
and then
when
scored this first
Simon
against them.
Nemec, or how you say his
Simone
name?
Nemec.
Simone Nemec. When he got drafted, Daniel was like, "What? What is this? Why is this the case?"
Yeah, my initial reaction was not too happy because we had Shane right there. But hey, trust
His
the
initial
process.
reaction was, but yeah, the Pacific isn't doing too much moving. Teams are just kind of coasting along. Even though Calgary and Vancouver are making a run, I don't know if the Flames can really catch it. Like, they just don't seem to have it. They lose Johnny Hockey, they lose Matthew Tkachuk, and one is playing way better than the other this season thus far. I don't think they have it. Are we ready to wrap up here?
Yeah, so much for that winner, Johnny Hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Moving on to the Central Division. Probably the least intimidating division.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. The Atlantic has a case for that as well. But the Jets, I did not know they were this good. The Jets are good. They're a good team. They only they have 16 wins. They're at the top of the Central, and they only have 8 losses. I watched them pick Florida apart. Like, it was bad. It was like, let me find the score. I don't even remember what it was, just because I didn't even want to look. It was bad. It was just a Kyle Connor. It was 5-2. It was literally 5-2, and they beat the Ducks 5-2. But they did lose to the Blue Jackets 1-4.
Ooh.
How do you guys feel about that now? So is this one of those? Is this a fraud? Are these frauds?
I mean, it's one game. Anything can happen in sports.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, we know anything can happen.
Even-
Ain't that right, Daniel? Anything can happen during a hockey game.
It's very, very true.
2-6.
Was it the bubble when Arizona made the playoffs and even they
Yeah.
they
It was
won a game?
Montreal. Montreal had more losses
Oh,
than
yeah,
wins,
that
and they went to
that
the
too.
Cup final,
Yeah.
That too.
which is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Please,
Wait, who did they beat in the qualifying round? Adrian, do you know that answer?
Yeah.
Qualifying round. Wait a minute. Qualifying round?
Yeah, wasn't the qualifying round the round of like 24 teams?
Oh, you
make
mean that's
it?
the 2020 season? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
talking about
the
the 2021 season.
My bad.
2020, they still probably they beat the Penguins, right?
Yep.
That year, the Panthers made that, and my God, I hadn't watched Panthers hockey in a couple years at that point, so I was just like, wow, it took them the 12th seed to make the playoffs. It was like that was brutal.
Little fun fact here: the Devils missed the 24-team playoffs by 1 point exactly. They lost like their last 7 games in overtime. If they won one of them, they would have made it, which in hindsight is a beautiful thing because Alexander Holtz and Dawson Mercer would not be New Jersey Devils right now.
Fair point. That's a fair way to look at it right there. And so this division, top heavy with Winnipeg, they're like 16-8. They're going crazy. They moved up actually. This division has moving parts. Dallas was ahead last week, so Winnipeg moves up into the top spot, and now the Stars, Jason Robertson going crazy, they're in second in the division, and they had a rough week. They only won 1 game, so they've been bumped down a bit. And underneath them, the Wild, they've moved their way up into third, so now that they hold a central spot, and Colorado's now bumped down to the wild card because Colorado had a bad week as well. So Winnipeg and Minnesota had great weeks. They only lost 1 game, 3-2 wins apiece, while Colorado and Dallas could only get 1 win. They were losing a lot.
You guys think Jason Robertson is a Hart candidate?
A candidate? Absolutely. A candidate?
Sure.
I think so, yeah.
For sure.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, a candidate, but like, will he win it? You know what I'm saying? Will he win the award? That's a different story.
He has a case. Let's put it there.
Oh, 100%. Without a doubt.
41 points in 26
Without a
games.
doubt
That's
in...
phenomenal.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. But like, I look at the division and Nashville. They had a good week, but they didn't play any games. They haven't played a game in 6 days.
Yeah.
I don't know what the scheduling was with that, but they won 2 games, including that that win against the Devils, which we were on the show for when that was happening because it was like the tail end of the game, and we're breaking it live, and it was so funny because AG's like, yeah, he's like, yeah,
I was
that's
having
for
a good
you guys.
I was having a good time during that show. I'm not gonna lie.
Because they're off the game like, dude, what just happened, man? They allowed a goal with 5 seconds left.
Oh my god!
Walk
man,
me through that, because you
what
guys were... Everyone that was supposed to be on the show was at this game.
I was at the
Everyone
game.
was
Yeah,
at
so
the
give
game.
us the breakdown.
So give us the
Daniel.
breakdown, Daniel.
No, they Nashville took a penalty with about...
I haven't seen a penalty in... I don't know if I've ever watched a penalty live. Actually, maybe one time.
There's penalties in hockey. It's crazy.
Right?
It's wild.
Right?
Took a
Yeah.
penalty with about 2.5 minutes left, so we were like, the game's basically over.
Just a normal penalty.
Yes.
I thought you meant...
2-minute minor.
I thought you meant like...
P shot?
Yeah, so that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, no. Took a penalty with 2.5 minutes left. We're on the power play, and we kind of played too conservative. Like, we just kept giving Marino the puck and just passing the puck around the perimeter and didn't even try to put on net. Like, literally just ate time. The guy comes out of the box. There's still 30 seconds left. Nashville gets the puck. They just throw one on net. 8 seconds left. Clean up the rebound. Bad bounce. It happens.
Speaking of bad bounces, bro, don't forget Hamburglar, greatest dump in ever.
I knew
but
that was coming.
I'll never forget that.
Unbelievable.
But
That was funny.
like Nashville, they're doing solid. They have 12 wins. They're just kind of sticking there though. The Blues had a rough week. After having a good week, they had a bad week, and they're still stuck at pretty much the basement of the Central.
Jordan Binnington is weighing them down.
I'm gonna say, can we please talk about that? He's the biggest clown in the NHL.
I despise
don't
him.
disagree.
By
I do
far.
not
He's
disagree.
not
Someone-
even close.
Let's go. I see
What was
public
the-
enemy number 2 at WMSC breaking the ice.
He's up there.
He is up there.
What's the public enemy one? I gotta
What's
know.
his name again,
Mitchell
man?
Miller?
Yeah, Mitchell Miller.
Mitchell Miller, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Fair,
enough.
He's
But-
a name you just have to bring up. Don't speak anything
But
else
Jordan-
about it. It is what it is. What that everyone knows. Yada yada yada.
But Jordan Binnington, someone has to like pop him, man. Someone has to stand up to him. Like, I can't wait for the day that someone just.
Oh, this is going right on the Instagram.
Oh,
Make
this-
this spiel right here. This is your chance. Get it all
That's
out.
great. Someone has to stand up to him. I cannot wait to see him get beat up. I could use another phrase, but I'm not gonna use it. I just
Crybaby.
he is such a crybaby.
He threw the water bottle at Nazem Kadri, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was him that did that last year?
Yeah.
Like, he is a career 909 save percentage, 889 this year, 9-11 his record. Like, you're mid.
And just add
You're
to that,
mid.
their coach was calling him out as well.
Yeah,
and stuff like
own
that.
coach was calling for him to be suspended and said he needs to just stop and focus on stopping pucks.
Just
The
play
antics-
goal.
Yeah, because he's a
the antics
Like,
need to
just
stop.
play goal.
he's horrible at
He
goaltending
literally
right now.
speared Jason Zucker
Yeah,
as he was skating
Disgusting.
through the trapezoid.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he came over and started talking crazy with that. And you saw Jason like they cut to Zucker and he was like,
He's like, I think Jordan Binnington's idol is Antonio Brown. It has to
That's
be.
a good comparison.
Is he the AB of the NHL?
I wouldn't go that far because AB's on a
Is he
completely
is he
different level.
like
yeah, well, AB is
Let's
also
see.
in a standoff with police in Tampa, so
That-
I don't know if he's at that
Yeah,
level.
AB's
that's what I'm saying.
he's in a world of his own. He can't be like compared to right now. I feel like
But
Binnington?
he's on that track.
he's on track. Yeah.
Is he public enemy number 2 at on breaking the ice?
I'll let you guys make that declaration. I'll stay out of this.
Now this is a group decision here.
Let's put him in the top 5 for now.
Top 5.
You guys have
Well,
more candidates on
I
the
was
way.
saying, do we even have we established a top 3,
I don't
nevertheless a
think we
top 5?
have.
Mitchell Miller
But I feel like
is
it'll
one.
come.
That's without a doubt. I don't think he'll ever be
Jacob
replaced either.
Truba, number
Yes.
2.
Take-
Jacob
Okay,
Trouba,
that
that's
I
a
can
good
get
one.
behind.
Good
Jacob
one.
Trouba,
Good one.
number
Spill it
2.
out, boys. Spill it out.
Jacob Trouba has to be number 2.
And-
He took a run at Nico in the Devils Rangers game,
he
straight for
missed.
his head, completely missed, wipes down to the boards. It was beautiful. But he's a dirty player.
And
Takes
then-
out
Trouba is
Ricard
dirty.
Raquel in game 1 blatantly.
Yeah.
Then he takes out Sidney Crosby blatantly in game 5. You can argue that losing 2 players on your top line, never less than your top 6, is a big reason to why you blow a 3-1 lead.
Yep.
You could one could argue that. Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
Nope.
Not
So-
at all.
And
And I
Randy-
forgot who said the quote. He was like, well, he's an $8 million player with no goals. He has to figure out a way to impact his team and do something because he's not doing it on he's not doing it on the stat sheet.
Detroit, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was somebody on the Hawks. It was somebody on the Blackhawks. I forgot who. I got to look that up. I'll come back to you guys on that.
And they had the audacity to make him captain too.
I was gonna say that.
The only reason Trouba is the captain of the Rangers because he took out Sidney Crosby in game 5.
It wouldn't shock me.
He said it.
Literally it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's like a sports take that's not popular, but I will so get behind and fight to the end of the day.
All right, so this is for Jacob Trouba and Jordan Binnington.
I to add another one.
brother, this guy stinks!
You couldn't have picked a better sound effect for that.
I mean, soon enough, Marchand's gonna do something. I bet.
Yeah,
so
it's been a minute.
it's been too long.
He's waiting in the flesh.
Yep.
All right, so as far as the Central goes, outside of the Blues, just meddling around a third with a really controversial goal. I almost say goalkeeper, goaltender. Arizona and Chicago. Does it get worse in Arizona, or is San Jose or Arizona? What's your guys' worst pick?
Like who's like worse?
Who's
right now?
worse? Yeah, who's
I mean,
worse?
I mean, Arizona in total, like their whole franchise is literally a dumpster fire right now. Like you look at their locker room that they had to play in. Oh my god! Like,
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, they play in a college arena.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
play at
say,
Arizona
you
State.
know how they say tie goes to the runner in baseball? Like tie goes to Mullet Arena.
yeah,
Okay.
Like,
that's a good.
Let me ask you. Let me
It's
ask you through
brutal.
this. When you think of Arizona State, what do you think more of? College frat parties, or the Coyotes?
The Coyotes, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Coyotes.
This is breaking
What do we
news. We
think
only
about?
think about hockey here.
What do we think?
This is all we think about.
It shouldn't be hockey. Let's put it that way. It shouldn't be the National Hockey League
Yeah,
when
do
you're
we-
talking about a college, a university.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah,
Here we are.
And now they have like a deal to get an arena and like by like 2026. I don't know why they just
They
don't
couldn't even pay their taxes.
Okay.
move to Quebec already. Please
okay.
make the move.
This is a National Hockey League team we're talking about, the Arizona Coyotes. And I get it. They played at Arizona State. Arizona State sold more tickets for them playing at the time number 2 ranked Minnesota with the University of Minnesota than they have for any Coyotes game the entire season.
That is brutal.
I just
That
want
is
to
bad.
I just want to put that in perspective. That's why I asked the question. What do you think of Arizona? What do you think of Arizona State University? What's it called, frats or the Coyotes? Because it's literally a question. They do not care about the Coyotes there.
If
Nobody
your
cares.
arena is named after a hairstyle and your locker rooms are worse than the average men's beer league, delete your franchise, please.
Over under 25 years until the Arizona Coyotes move.
Not 25, under to me.
Under. Way under.
I mean,
Under 15.
I mean, they have that new arena coming, and they already have like a model of it.
Under
so,
again,
like,
man.
So,
I don't care. If
How
you're
do
only
they go away from like that whole thing?
I don't care. You
planning
build
now?
your own arena, but if you're only selling out 7,000 people even in that arena a night, even like say if they're competitive and they're still only selling that out, say if they sell out like 8-9, oh wow, they sold out. They
the
sold
Marlins
8-9.
would know a thing about.
Oh,
low crowds.
yeah, baby. 98 mil for Bogarts. Take it, bro. Just take it. You don't need 280 from the Padres. Regardless, I got one sound effect here. I don't know what it is. Let's just find out. We're going to find out what this is. I don't know what it's called. It's called Ben's Thoughts.
I'm scared.
Does anyone know what this could be?
I have no idea.
Nope.
Well, it's now time for Band's Thoughts. Band's Thoughts. Band's Thoughts.
I'm never clicking that again.
My name is not Ben. So.
I'm never clicking that again in my
Ben's Thoughts.
entire life. That is by far the worst one.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
We
That
forgot
was
to
a
mention
disgrace
McKinnon's
to
out for
break
like
in the
4
ice.
weeks, right?
Yeah, he wasn't playing that great. Like I saw a stat saying Zach Parise had more goals this season than McKinnon did.
Listen, he's the playoff performer.
True. And
He
McCarr.
is the playoff
Oh my
performer. That team will figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to the division you guys love so much, the Metropolitan Division, named after the New York Mets. Just kidding. That's definitely not the case. But in first place in the Metropolitan, with 2 wins and a loss this past week, the loss against the Predators we just talked about, and 2 wins against who, Daniel?
The 2 wins were against. Why am I blanking?
Oh, he's got this. Come on. Don't let me beat you to it.
Come on, Devils report.
Don't let me beat you to it. It's the Blackhawks and the Flyers, by the way.
Blackhawks and
3-0 and 3-2. Talk to us. Talk to us about those 2 games.
The Flyers. Honestly, that was an ugly game. That was really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They got completely outskated and outworked.
I forgot.
and
Both you guys can contribute on this one. You guys have the floor.
I'll take the Flyers game. You take Blackhawks.
Well, I do want to add something to the Flyers
Go
game.
ahead.
Are you want to say your Flyers take, and I'll
Go
just
right
add
first.
something?
Yeah, go right first, man.
Go right ahead.
Okay, just to add to the Flyers game, yes, the Devils probably played one of their worst games all season, no doubt about it. But here's the thing that I love most about that win. They found a way to win that game despite playing their worst game. I don't know if it was Bill Spalding who said it on during the game. When you have your B game or C game and you're still able to find ways to win a game, that's what good hockey teams do, and that's what the Devils did. Akira Schmid bailed them out, and they found Schmid, and they found a way to win. I feel like that shows a lot about this team right now.
I mean, that's the major difference from this year compared to last year. I mean, last year, if they didn't have their A++ game, they did not win the game. This
Definitely.
year, they could have their A- game, they could have their B game, they could even have their C game, like they did against the Flyers. That might even been their F game against the Flyers. Yeah. And they found a way, because that's what they do. They capitalize. You have guys like Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier who could just turn things around in the snap of a finger. So they're never truly out of it. And they really did get completely outworked and outskated by the Flyers, who are not a great team. But they capitalized on their chances, and even though it was ugly, they found a way, and the 2 points in the standings is the only thing that matters.
Definitely. I mean, and you saw John Tortorella, his 56 seconds post-game interview. He was just not having it because he knew the Flyers were the better team that game.
He got mad at one of the reporters, I believe I saw. Like they were like, "Did the team play well?" He was like, "Of course they played well. Did you watch the game?" like it's true though.
I love Torts.
They dominated the Devils, but that's what championship teams do. They find a way no matter what. For reference, the Devils have 21 wins now. I believe it was March 8th of last season that they hit 21 wins.
Yeah.
So from today, that we're a whole 3 months ahead of schedule from last year, which
that's crazy.
3 months ahead of schedule. The Cats are like 3 months behind schedule from last year. 21-5 that is not the least amount of losses in the league though. There's one team ahead of them, but still they've been doing fantastic work. Are you scared of the Hurricanes, boys? Are you guys scared of the Carolina Hurricanes right on the tails? They're 14-12, so they're doing okay. They moved up. They were third in the Metro. They've moved up into second place this past week. They have victories, I believe. Their one loss was really ugly. That was against Anaheim.
Yep.
and they have 2 victories against the Kings and the Blues.
They were on a 4-game winning streak prior to that loss against the Ducks.
Are you scared of Carolina, or are they staying where they are?
You talking about like division or like playoffs? We talking about?
Go both.
I mean, division, I'm not really worried. I think the Devils will keep up pace, but come playoff time, Carolina has been there like the last 3-4 years now. Devils are going to be there for the first time ever if they make the playoffs. They should. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Carolina. I'm not for sure. But Carolina is like a team like destined at some point to win a Stanley Cup in the next few years, I think.
Yeah, we're one of the deepest rosters in the league. They're one of the more well-coached teams in the league. They just got to get over that. They got to get over that second round of the playoffs. They're playing one of the more hostile environments in the league. They're one of the more well-run organizations in the league, so they're always going to be in it. And like we say, once you get to the playoffs, anything happens. So when you play a team like that, that's as skilled as Carolina, as well-coached as Carolina, can close out leads like Carolina, can stop the puck like Carolina.
Do everything like Carolina.
I mean, they're just a good team. They're just
Yeah.
they're just
Have you
a
considered
solid.
being a
hockey-
SoundCloud rapper?
Listen, man, they're the second round exit team. That's what they are to me.
No, they'll get over it, I think, this year.
A team as good as Carolina, like AJ said, they'll get over it at some point, and they if it gets to playoffs, they definitely scare me because they are a very complete team.
Definitely.
When you go to Carolina, do you feel in the playoffs? Do you feel good about a hockey game? No, it's one of the
No.
more hostile
No.
arenas in the game.
No.
That's why you got to keep stats at in this point of the way. I don't really want to feel like making playoff predictions because we are a quarter of the way. But at this point of the season, it's about stacking wins. It's about stacking wins, getting as far out in front as possible. And a young team like the Devils that is playing really well, but are as a little bit more less on the experience side than a team like a Carolina, Pittsburgh guys that are chasing them. Stacking wins is important. Stacking wins is the thing that you want to do. 21 wins is incredible right now for a team like that. So as long as the Devils could keep stacking and just growing this lead on Carolina, eventually, if they're gonna have to face them in the playoffs, they're gonna get 4 games in a rock and not 4 games down in Raleigh,
Yeah.
which is important.
I think that's a big thing that the Devils did this offseason, prioritizing guys who had playoff experience. That's going to be huge when it gets down the stretch. Andre Palat, obviously 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Brendan Smith has been there. Even Siegenthaler's been there. Vanacek has been there. Hall has been there. We really had no one with any sort of experience in the playoffs besides PK Subban, but he was on the tail end of
Now
his
he's
career
on
anyway.
ESPN. What's it calling Hockey Night instead of this. Now he's on the panel.
Yeah.
And exactly for a team like the Devils.
Now he's doing what we're doing.
He's doing what we're
Yeah.
doing, just on ESPN and on television.
That's the dream.
Yeah, but that's here nor there. That's the good thing that the Devils did this offseason. They got guys for an organization that hasn't really been there in a while. An organization that was near the bottom 5 teams in the league for the last couple of years. They got guys who can come in, know what they're doing, know what they're bringing. They bring a presence to the locker room, and you see it early in the year. They're stacking all these wins versus these teams. Like they ended up beating a team like Colorado, former defending Stanley Cup champions. They beat Edmonton in their building. Should have beat Toronto in their building.
They beat them once, though, in Toronto, though.
Exactly. But they're stacking these wins versus these good teams, and that's the stuff you're going to need coming to the playoffs. And you got to tip your cap. I mean, it's just Devils playing well right now.
Yeah, even John Marino's been there. He has almost 20 career postseason games. I mean that.
Thanks.
Anytime.
You can't escape.
This is going to be great, man. Fight about it right now.
You know what? I'm just happy he found success. Honestly,
I'm happy
Thank you.
for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy he broke out. I like John Marino. He was one of my favorite players on the Pens last year. So seeing him find success. Unfortunately, it's in a uniform I'd rather it not be in, but good for the kid.
I'm happy
Good
for
for the kid and
you.
good for the
I wish you
Devils.
were with me still, but I'm happy for you. Find a new
Exactly.
man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Everything's cool.
Sounds
but
like a
you
high
should be
school
with me, but no.
It's
Sorry.
me and John Marino's like a high school sweetheart breakup.
And just to add, for the Devils, they got a big stretch coming up here. A lot of tests coming up. They play a lot of great teams. They play Boston back-to-back games. They play Carolina. They play the Islanders, Stars, Panthers, Penguins.
Yeah, we're going to the game. Let's go. We're going to the game.
They play a lot of good teams coming up, so I'm excited to see what happens. This is a big test where the Devils could really prove the doubters wrong who are saying,
Yep.
oh, the Devils haven't played anyone good. So I'm excited to prove everybody wrong as usual.
As soon as the new year turns, that turns January, and you get out of this December, it's going to tell me a lot about how the Devils are. So
Me too. Yep.
Moving on, third in the Metropolitan Division, AJ, the Pittsburgh Penguins have gone from 7th to 3rd since the start of this show to now. They're 3-0 this past week, the one of two teams to not lose a single game this week. Their victories coming against the Blue Jackets, the Blues, and Vegas. How's this week been for you?
it's been good. It's been a real, I would say, coming of age for this team. What's that? And it's kind of weird to say with a team that has Sid, Malkin. We'll get into Tage in a little bit. What's it called? Just like all this experience on him. But
First of all, actually, how is he skating already?
yeah, I don't.
Not scientifically possible!
I don't know how after having a second stroke in less than a decade,
Scary.
like 10,
Yeah.
what's it called? Like less than 2 weeks later, he's already back out with skating with the team and everything. That's unreal. And please don't rush back.
Yeah,
Dog of the week.
Take his
real.
it's a dog, but a dog of the year.
Dog of the year.
What's that? Please don't
Aunt
rush
Maz.
back. Take as much time as you need.
Aunt Maz better hear that one because they don't cover the NHL, right? They don't do it, but that's on.
But
Listen, but that's an absolute dog of the week, dog of the year candidate
Yeah,
right
when
there.
you-
Chris
yeah,
Letang.
yeah, when you have a second stroke in a decade and you're skating within 2 weeks, that's crazy. But don't rush back. Take as much time as you need.
Exactly.
The Vegas game, that was just a grinded out game. They got down 2-0 in that game early. They were getting outshot by Vegas for the first 2 periods, and then this third period they would have turned it on, honestly steal that game, which is what you need from a team like that, especially in your building. You need that win. St. Louis, it was the Binnington game. It was just an onslaught. It was the Kasperi-Kapanen hat trick game. I don't even know how that happened. A kid who's been working. A kid who's been working needs to get on the ice. He got on the ice. He's got on the third line. Finally, he starts shoot with that. When he shoots the puck, he puts it in the net. And that's been the story of Kapanen ever since he's been in a Penguins uniform. When he gets hot, he's hot, and you saw it in that game. That was just a real mess by St. Louis, though. That was more or less. I believe that was just bad with the Blues than it was good Penguins. And then the Columbus game really showed me something because that was a game where they really started to look good on special teams. They looked good on the PK. They looked good on the power play. Just the Penguins' power play has been terrible for the last 2 years. But if they could skate and circle in the ozone in the power play like they did in that game, it's gonna be a good. It's gonna have good signs for the rest of the year. Upcoming, they have 2 games versus the 5-goal Tage Thompson, which I know we're going to get into a little bit.
Oh yeah.
They got tomorrow, they're in Buffalo, and then Saturday, they're at home versus Buffalo. They get them twice in 24 hours. Then they get to see Jason Robertson, Matt Tkachuk. Next week, exactly for a week from today, Pens, Panthers. So that should be.
I'll have to call him in for that episode.
Yep. So
I'll have to call him in for that one.
especially it's
Good on Pittsburgh, man. They've
if
just been.
Florida wins that. I don't even know if I'm gonna answer that call. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on.
I'll
I
answer
have
the
no
call.
choice but to talk about it
I'll
here.
answer the
I
call.
gotta be honest here. For as fun as it is talking about John Marino and everything, Pittsburgh deserves some serious props. I mean, they've got points in 9 of their last 10 games. They've really turned
They
it
sound like
around.
the Panthers from last year.
AJ was down in the dumps the first episode of this
Oh
show.
man.
It was bad.
Oh man.
And they
was
really
bad.
just turned their season around like that. So props to them. It's gonna be a fun race in the Metro.
And that's what happens with that. And I should have known from all these years being a Penguins fan. When you start to doubt Sid and Malkin and all them, what they do is they always respond. What's that? They've been in the playoffs the last 16 years for a reason. They always
Very,
respond.
very
They always find a way. Even if they're not as young as they used to be, they're not as fast as they used to be. They still know how to get it done. They're some of the greatest to ever played a game, and there's a reason why we think of them the way that they do.
For going 3-0 this
I had to
past
think.
week and vaulting themselves into a Metropolitan Division playoff spot, I'm awarding the Pittsburgh Penguins Breaking the Ice Team of the Week for this week.
I love the 2 Devils fans over there clapping as well.
Yeah.
Love it.
You didn't have like a boo thing at all?
No,
Nothing like
they're
that?
not getting booed. They didn't lose a game. They didn't lose a game.
Fair enough.
Let's move on now. The two teams that moved up in the Metro, someone had to move down, and the New York Islanders moving down to the 4th spot from after being 2nd last week. The biggest mover in all the league, both ways, up or down. 1-2 this past week. They're 16-11. What happened?
They were due for regression. They are still lacking goal scorers, and not to be that person, but a lot of it had luck involved.
So,
I mean, they were shooting at such high percentages that were just not sustainable.
Here's how their games
and
went.
Sorokin is a god.
Well, here's how that happened, though. So they lost to the Predators 4-1. All right, 4-1. Sorokin had a rough game. Only faced 21 shots and allowed 2 goals. 4 goals? My mistake. I was like, hold on. But then they beat the Blackhawks 3-0, so they rebounded great. But it's the Blackhawks. You know what I'm talking about? The bottom of the Central. And then they lose to the Blues 7-4. 7-4.
That was a brutal game. I watched that one. They were down by 3, I believe. They were down by 3 with 10 minutes left. They scored 2 in 20 seconds, and then they get the.
Then Robert Thomas and Noel Achari. That's where Achari is now. He's in St. Louis. Oh, come on, man.
The Islanders had some of the worst 6-on-5 play with them being in the advantage I've ever seen. I mean, they get the extra attacker.
Yeah, they scored 2 empty net goals, yeah.
2 right away, just giveaways. I think it was Ryan Pulak, the first one, just passed it to the defender. I don't even know what he was doing. It was that they weren't even trying to keep possession of the puck. They were just here, free goal, take it.
And it happened twice. And I can't believe Noel Achari, man. Oh, man, whatever. But, so that's the deal there. They've dropped now. And do you guys think they'll stay down there?
I wanted to say something about the Islanders.
Go right ahead.
I saw something. So the whole time Barry Trotz was their coach, I don't think they got 40 shots or more one game throughout his whole run with the Islanders.
Wow.
I saw something like that on some Islanders page. So this against Edmonton about a week ago, they finally got over 40, I think, or something like that. I don't know. It was a recent game. They got over 40 shots for the first time in such a long time, and that shows that the Islanders are not they're built to be a defensive team. But when their goaltending fails them, they are a disaster because they don't have the offensive ability outside of Barzell, and they have a bunch of old guys like Paul Mary, Parise. They are really not going to do it for this team right now. So I'm looking at the Islanders. I feel like this is the last year for them if they want to make the playoffs. Other than that, they're not looking good for the future outside of Sorokin. But he can't win you every game.
Sorokin can't score. I mean, unless he just sends it up there and goes 1v5 by himself.
We've seen it with the Rangers, too. I mean, how many games did Shesterkin steal for them last year?
So I have a question about just that right there. So there's the Islanders and the Rangers, right? You know, both the teams of New York. Every week I got to award the Bing Bong Award. Who's getting it this week out of those two teams? Who played better out of those two teams this past week? The Rangers went 2-2. The Islanders dropped down 2 spots. The Rangers get the Bing Bong, right?
Rangers. I think Rangers played better this week, honestly.
Bing bong.
They get the Bing Bong of the week. Last week, the Islanders absolutely got it because the Rangers, they led their first win for Anaheim in regulation.
Sure.
But
fair enough.
The Islanders, they just didn't bring it. They did not bring it this week. I mean, you got to give Sorokin his credit where it's due. But it's not always that simple. So, how do you guys feel how many of these metropolitan teams are making the playoffs?
I think 4. I say Devils, Hurricanes, Penguins, Rangers. And the reason why I say the Rangers, I feel like they're too good of a team. They have offensive ability. I know their 5-on-5 plays some of the worst in the league, but I feel like they'll get better throughout the year. The problem is why they're not playing as good as they were last year is, like Daniel said, Shesterkin won them so many games last year, and Shesterkin's still having a really good season right now. But the level he played at last season was unsustainable, and you cannot just that's a decade type of play by a goalie. You don't see that often. He really carried the Rangers that whole year, and now that he's having a slight decrease, it shows that the Rangers are not a team that's really gonna pour it on the score sheet. Like every game last season, they got outshot, and that's happening this season as well. Yeah. So the Rangers 5-on-5 play has to improve. It has improved the last 2 games. They got a nice win in Vegas, 5-1, so that's an impressive win. So we'll see what happens. I feel like the Rangers, with Mika, Panarin, and Kreider, I feel like they'll get a wild card spot, maybe 3rd spot. We'll see. But, yeah, when Shesterkin's not playing at the God tier level like he was last year, it's going to be hard to win games.
You two, what are your thoughts? Give your unless you guys just agree.
I kind of agree with that all the way down. I think the Devils are going to run with that. I think they're going to keep stacking wins, and they're going to win. I think they're going to win the Metro by at least like 8 points. Wow. That's the one prediction I'll make. With a playoff prediction that I'll make. I'll give you guys a little bit of props on that. Don't call me biased, but I think the Penguins are going to I think they're going to jump the Hurricanes. I just think they're top. I think their top 6 better. I think their top pairing decor is better. I think their goaltender's better. I think they're more well coached of a team. As much flowers as I gave to the Hurricanes earlier. I think the Penguins are just a little bit better this year. I do fear them in the playoffs though. I think they're a terrible matchup for them in the playoffs though.
I mean the way that Kasperi Kapanen played this past week.
Yeah.
Penguins' goal differential is 10 higher than Carolina right now.
Exactly.
Well,
I was and then I got Carolina 3, which I just explained why I like them about like 15 minutes ago, like 10-15 minutes ago. And then I got
of course,
yeah. And then I got the Rangers.
So that's the top heavy part of the division. Even though the Rangers are in the bottom now, they're not really up there right now, but maybe they'll figure it out. Washington, they're just coasting along. You know what I mean? 2-2. We had this discussion last week. They're just too old.
Yep.
They're too old. It's the same squad that got their ring in 2018. They're not running it back. They haven't won a playoff series since then. Last year, the Panthers took them to town in 3 straight games. Like, absolutely clutched up as Panthers hockey as it gets. The Flyers, what happened?
What happened?
1-3 this week, and they just keep falling. They're just doing nothing but falling this way. The best thing that has happened for them is not even a current player. Wayne Simmons, if you guys didn't see, he spent the day with Isaiah Meyer-Crothers.
I saw that.
That was really cool.
Yep.
That was insanely cool. That's the best thing the Flyers got going for them because, wow.
I mean, they did beat the Avalanche, I think, about a couple of days ago.
They did. That was their win. That's their win. But their other 2 losses are to the Devils and to the Capitals.
I mean, before that, they were on a 10-game losing streak until they beat the Islanders, so they've been just on a downward spiral.
They started 3-0, and now they're 9-18, so it's been rough.
Oh, yeah, no, through my Devils page, I got so many Flyers fans in my DMs, saying, after they beat us on opening night, they just were pouring the hate on us.
But they're still not in the bottom. They still cling on to second last.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Because guess who's at the bottom? Johnny Hockey and the boys from Columbus, the Blue Jackets. What's up, guys?
Cook.
What's the deal? What's the
I'm
deal?
gonna let y'all cook on this one. I'm gonna hop out.
I don't even have words. Just laughing does it justice enough. He straight up said, I went to Columbus instead of New Jersey because I want to go to a winning hockey franchise. The Devils have 43 points in the standings. The Blue Jackets have 18. I will let that speak for itself.
Keep in mind, the Jackets have had a couple key injuries. Jakub Voracek, he's not looking like he's gonna play anytime soon, and Jake Bean's out for 4 to 6 months as well. So that's like the whole season, pretty much, right there. But they're 8-17, and they won only 1 game this past week, but they gotta win. But they still can't leapfrog Philly, no matter what. Their 1 win against the Jets. Mind you, their 1 win is against the Jets. And the teams they lost to are the Red Wings and the Sabres. And the Pens, of course, too. But, how does this happen? So give your Johnny Hockey Columbus spiel real quick.
No, it's hilarious. And he got booed very loudly by New Jersey fans, as he should, because he in a sense showed them up. The offer was on the table, he was ready to go, and then he basically said on the Spittin' Chicklets pod, I went to Columbus because I believe that they are a winner. And obviously that's spiting New Jersey, because if he thought
one team has 21 wins, one has 8.
Exactly.
One has 8. 8.
It's just, it's funny, I mean, he clearly didn't see the process we had going here. A lot of people did. Andre Palat did. Dougie Hamilton did. Jonas Siegenthaler did to sign a massive extension. Eric Holla did. Well, that wasn't by choice. He was in a trade. But you see all these guys in New Jersey buying in, and I know they've had injuries, but Johnny Hockey almost was selfish in a sense that he did what he believed was best for himself and chasing the bag, but sometimes that's not always the best option. I mean, if he's happy, so be it. I can't speak for him, but just look at the standings. Can you tell me he's... odds are he's not truly happy playing in Columbus right now, and this is only year one of the contract. So.
Yeah. So that's the Metro right there. They just...
Can
you
I
got one more?
Can I
Hit
say
it,
something
bro.
about
Hit
Johnny
it.
Hockey?
Absolutely hit it.
Look, so I never thought I would say this, but I'm kind of happy the Devils did not sign Johnny Hockey. So, all right, back in July, oh, man, I wanted Johnny Hockey so bad. Well, we got the real Johnny Hockey on our team now. The real Johnny Hockey. I want to, think about this. Think about if we didn't get Johnny Gaudreau. We were going to pay him, $9 million a year. We wouldn't be able to afford these other guys like Palat, Holla, Vanacek. And I feel like at the time, our team, the Devils, we don't need any more offense. Our offense was not bad last season. Our problem was defense and goaltending, and that's what they addressed. And that's why they're looking so good right now. And I needed to add more veteran presence, and they did that. So I'm happy that Johnny Hockey is playing for Columbus, enjoying his 8 wins. So, yeah.
Enjoy his 8 wins. Absolutely. One's up here, one's down here.
To put it in perspective, the difference between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New Jersey Devils right now is...
2 touchdowns.
No, is the Buffalo... what's it called? Is the amount of points the Buffalo Sabres have collected the entire season.
Well, we're going to transition now into everyone's favorite division, the Atlantic Division. Let's go. Listen, I know you guys don't care, but
I care.
But let's roll in. I mean, this is important. It's the wild card race. All comes down to this. Not that the Devils fans are even looking at the wild card race right now, but it happens. You know, you guys used to look at that. That used to be like bread and that.
Lucky if we looked at
the
that.
wild card race was like that was the cup for you guys.
We were looking at who if we were going to be in last place to get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Dude, that was
Tank for Jack Hughes, tank for Slavkovsky, tank for everyone the last 5 years.
At first place. By the way, I forgot to do one more thing before we transition out the Metro. I gave the Penguins Team of the Week. Now let's give a team the Loser of the Week award. I'm going to give it to the New York Islanders. I'm going to give it to the New York Islanders for losing their playoff spot entirely and completely falling out of the top 3. You know, this is for you.
Let's go with me.
Moving on, the Boston Bruins, the best team in the league.
Yes.
Can
yes.
they stop winning, please?
You just want to be number 1 just for a few days.
We are by points, but they have games in hand, so I can't it's not legitimate.
It's not legitimate. I mean, this team has 4 losses, one of them to the Panthers, mind you. But regardless, they beat the Avs 4-0 and then 5-1. So that was their 2 wins this past week, with also a shootout loss to Vegas. But shootout losses are so fringe. You know what I mean? It's not like the game was really close.
Get rid of the shootout.
This team looks crazy. Looks absolutely crazy. They're going to take this division. They're running away with it.
I mean, Toronto is very close behind. They're playing good hockey
Listen,
as well. But I know Boston's going to win.
We know how
but
Toronto's going to end up in the end. It doesn't matter. 2, 3, 4, but it all ends the same way.
Well, Boston also has 3 games in hand on Toronto.
That is true.
Like, Boston is incredible right now. I feel like what can really stop them? Wait till Marchand makes somebody mad. Wait till Marchand acts up. Then they're going to go 17,000-0.
Since we're running out of time, could we
We're not even running out of time.
Oh, okay.
We're going right through. Trust me. We started late. No one's after us. We're going to end late.
All right.
That's how it is.
Go with me.
Perfect for me.
Boston, 2-1, in this past week, and they have 21 wins, but they weren't. I saw that post the Devils put out where it was like first team to 20 wins, and they had that crossed out Boston. And they're like, "Don't look at this. This doesn't exist. It's not real."
The Devils' social media admin is elite. I just want to say that.
Has he improved from last season?
Yeah,
Because last year, I remember Daniel was like, "Dude, Shut up.
Well, we went to that panel, and I don't know if you recall.
I remember
that kid
exactly what you
literally
saw.
saying to Sam Chasan, who's one of the head social media people for Devils, and basically saying, "Are you aware that most people around the league think negatively of the Devils' social media?" And whatever they did, they've come a long way because their content this season has been hilarious, and it also helps when you're winning
Of
games
course, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
repeatedly as opposed to like once every 2 weeks.
Just want to let everyone know you were listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is Breaking the Ice, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are in second in the Atlantic Division. Are they going to stay there? Because I'm not sure, but like I don't have any reason to think they won't. You know what I'm saying? They had an okay week. They lost a game. They won a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing crazy. Like, that's the thing like, they're just playing their hockey right now. They beat the Kings tonight. They destroyed them. But they lost to the Lightning in overtime. They destroyed the Stars, which is a quality win. But in third place in this division, moving up, the Detroit Red Wings now are in a playoff spot. 2 wins this past week, but they just got destroyed by the Panthers. So, you know, things might occur. But they beat the Lightning. That's a quality win for that team. Does Detroit have it to stay up in this pack?
Well, Tampa Bay did just leapfrog them, but Detroit has a game in hand, so if Detroit wins their next game, they're tied. It's neck and neck.
It's neck and neck. And Tampa, even speaking to them, like they're playing good hockey too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They lost a lot of pieces. That's the thing. Like they're not going to be the powerhouse that they used to.
But they
be.
still they beat the Preds, they beat the Flyers, they beat the Leafs. They make their wins. They make their quality wins. You know, they win the games that'll get them where they are. They just beat the Preds tonight, and like. Even though they moved down one, in this Atlantic Division, who do you guys see taking wild card spots, and who do you see missing? You know what I mean? How many of these teams? You said, I believe y'all agreed on 4 metropolitan teams making it?
Yeah.
So which 4? Are those the 4 at the top? Detroit, Toronto, obviously Boston, obviously Toronto. Do you see Tampa, Detroit? Is that the 2 teams you guys see?
That's what I'm going with. Well, Detroit.
Florida's coming, man.
Honestly, I'm not that worried about Florida. Yes, they had an amazing season last year, but I remember
they're so different, man. They don't even get me started.
I remember seeing something like in the beginning of the season of like their like defensive pairings and stuff like that, and I didn't know one name on that whole defensive pairing.
On the team right now?
On the team right now,
Aaron
yeah.
Ekblad.
Aaron Ekblad. Other than him, I can't.
Right now,
Mackenzie Weegar was
Weegar's gone.
such a.
Yeah,
it was
that
tough
hurts.
getting rid of him.
Right now, the D pairings, man. So Ekblad, I think he's with Stahl right now. I think he's with Mark Stahl.
He the top pairing. Mark Stahl is a top pairing defenseman.
No. I don't know. So I know Gudis and Forsling are a pairing, and they have Josh Mahura and like Matt Kierstead. It's rough.
Yeah.
Ekblad and Weegar was my everything, man. That was my everything. So that trade is rough, but
those guys
hey,
sound like be a pro players. Like when they give you a name.
Listen, let's just give Matthew Tkachuk his flowers for carrying this team on his back. He dropped 7 points in 3 games a couple weeks ago. Like 3 goals, 4 assists. The guy is incredible. I know Daniel made a comment. He doesn't mess with Brady, but he likes Matt.
Yeah, I stand by that.
You stand by that? There's a better Tkachuk brother out there. There's one better than the other. Now, Montreal is just kind of coasting. They're not making moves. Let's talk about the top story. The Buffalo Sabres and Tage Thompson.
Cinco de
Tage. So for those who don't know, let's just dive into how crazy what Tage Thompson did the other night is. Sometimes a whole team doesn't even score 4 goals in a game. If you score 4 goals in a game as a team, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid, you know what I mean? Exactly. And that's as a whole team and for the whole game. If you score 4 goals in 1 period as a team, you're insane. Right? And that's just as a team. This guy, Tage Thompson, ties the NHL record for the most goals in 1 period with 4 goals. And he ended the night with 5 goals and an assist. He dropped 4 goals by himself. To do that in a game as a player, in the whole game, is ridiculous. To do it in 20 minutes is another level.
And he had an assist, too, on top of that. 5-point first period.
Yeah, it's the best offensive game we've seen in the regular season since Mika's
Mika's Zibanejad.
That's good, yeah.
And
definitely.
his
a
took
few
overtime.
years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Tage
100%.
Thompson with
Just
that
took a
performance, he's up there. He dropped I want to say it was 3 goals and 5 assists in 2 games. That had to be 2 games.
Well, we just were talking about Be a Pro. To do the math now, he has 11 points in his last 3 games.
That's
That's
unreal.
3. That's almost 4
That's-
points a game.
I mean,
Wow.
My Be a Pro player and chill, there have been times I didn't do that. Maybe I'm around 9-10 points in 3 games.
But
And this
even-
guy's playing real NHL hockey, and he's just, and he came out of nowhere. That's the crazy thing. And
I had Tage in fantasy last year. He didn't come out of nowhere. I've seen him. I've been a Tage supporter.
sorry, I'm going off right now. They suppressed his ice time in the 3rd period. I believe he got 3 minutes of ice time in the 3rd
Oh,
period.
what?
Really?
Can you, I guess keep your players healthy in a blowout, whatever. But this guy had a chance at history. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, let him cook. Let Tage cook.
Yeah, they're not
Come on.
winning any games. They're 12 and 14. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, they did win a couple games last week. Was how are you gonna lose when Tage Thompson drops 5 goals in a game and 4 in 1 period? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
You're
are
not gonna
7
lose
in
the
Atlantic.
game.
They're 7 in Atlantic, and this December schedule's brutal. They got 2 games versus Pittsburgh. Then they're
9-4. They beat the. That's wow.
Yeah, they got 2 games versus Pittsburgh. Then they play the Kings. Then they go to Colorado. Then they go to the College Stadium, so that's gonna be a win. Then they go to Vegas. Then they're home versus Tampa. Then they play Columbus. Then they play Detroit and Boston.
That's brutal.
So you keep going. Keep going.
Here's the time on ice log for Tage Thompson. Last 5 games: 20 minutes 6 seconds, 20 minutes 7 seconds, 21 minutes 29 seconds, 19 minutes 26 seconds. The game he got 6 points in, 13 minutes 56 seconds.
He got 6 points in 13
He
minutes.
played almost half the time he normally does and got 6 points.
Yes, he got a point every 2 minutes.
That's
Bro.
insane. Oh my god.
And,
He's toying with the league right now.
It's not even just him, but Dylan. Is it Dylan Cousins? Is that how you say his last name? Or Cousins?
Dylan Cousins is
Dylan
playing
Cousins.
great right
Do you
now.
know how many shifts he played? I would say, do you know how many shifts he played?
Let's see.
But Cousins also
see if
let's
you
not
wrote that up.
downplay him. This Sabres team has 2 great players. They just gotta get a team around him. Skinner was playing great a couple weeks ago, last week. You know what I mean? So as long as they just keep it up, I think they can make a push. But I don't see them making any wild card spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This sadly is just all they can do.
I'm looking
19 shifts for Tage.
Yeah.
at,
So he essentially got a point every 3 shifts.
wow.
And then there's the Ottawa Senators just chilling at the bottom of the league, at the bottom of the Atlantic, because they've got nothing, bro. Claude Giroux can live out his final few years at Ottawa. But boys, before we get out of here, props to Tage Thompson. You tied an NHL record. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, man. You can have the Lil John.
Breaking the ice player of the week.
Any last words? Well, honestly, player of the week, yeah, he have to get that absolutely. But McDavid was pushing for it. But
I was pushing for it.
McDavid and Draisaitl had a great week as well. But any last final thoughts before you guys sign off here?
Yeah, I just want to real quick on the subject of Tage bring up a tweet from Evolving Hockey, who is one of the biggest hockey analytics people. On July 18th, 2021, for the expansion draft for Seattle, he tweeted, "It's really funny to me that Buffalo is protecting Tage Thompson." And then he tweeted a graph. He was in the 1st percentile, so the literal worst percentile for offense and 7th percentile in defense for the entire league. His analytics, he was like an ECHL player, his production.
Wow.
And then he just I don't know what he did, but he just exploded on the scene. That literally came from nowhere. And it's phenomenal. Good for him.
Just to add to that, before we go off, about the Sabres, I mean, they have a bright future. I'm looking at them right now. I feel like Rasmus Dahlin is not being talked about enough.
Stud.
Dylan Cousins, Jack Quinn, they got a bunch of young
Owen
studs
Power, we
on
saw
this
his
team.
first goal.
Owen Power, they got a bunch of young studs, and I feel like they're playing mediocre hockey right now. They might be in the playoff hunt down the line, but you know what? Watch out for this team in a year or 2. I'm telling you, Sabres are on the rise.
AJ, your last ones.
What's it called? Let's go Pens. With a nice little 3-0 week. Keep it going. Hopefully they don't get 6-point routed by Tage. Was that one of these 2 games? And hopefully we're calling it the show next week. With a nice little Pens win versus the Panthers.
For me, I'm just going to end it with there's been some great duo play this past week and a half here. McDavid and Draisaitl, incredible. Cousins and Thompson, incredible. Even Jason Robertson and Roope Hintz, incredible. You know what I mean? That's a great duo. And I feel like this past week, the best goaltender forward duo I saw, Blake Wheeler, Connor Hellebuck, man. Incredible play from these duos out here. This has been Breaking the Ice on 90.3 WMSC Montclair. We will be back next week with more NHL coverage. Stay tuned, everyone, and say goodbye.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Go Devs.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Have a good night, everybody.